Today is a very special day here in our calendar, is it? Happy Valentine's Day. Or International Meta Day. Actually, I'm not so sure. Is it suitable for Mark to wish all of you and the ladies a happy Valentine's Day? Because normally Valentine is more for lovers, isn't it? Or can you also say to your parents, Happy Valentine? Yes? Can? Or is it more for couples mainly? I think in the West it's understood more among like romantic relationships that they wish Happy Valentine's Day. Not so much to your auntie and like that. It's actually interesting, you know. What are we doing on Valentine's Day? We express our appreciation for the people we care about, isn't it? So people whom we like, we love, we care about. So we let them know from time to time. Otherwise, you know, maybe you know, but nobody else knows. So it's kind of also nice if from time to time we express how much we value another person, how much we care about somebody. It's actually a nice tradition to have one time in the year, at least one, where we express that also. So then the rest of the year, not so good to say, huh? Of course, other times of the year it's also fully allowable and fully okay from time to time to let each other know that we care for each other and so on. But at least there's one official day where it's like a reminder, yeah. So easy to forget, isn't it? But then sometimes I wonder whether this idea of caring for the beloved one, especially like in a couple, spouse, and in their relationship, do we have something similar in Buddhism? Valentine's Day does not come from the Buddha, I think. So what would you say is a quality that is the closest to Valentine's Day? Do we have anything like that? Loving kindness. Loving kindness is also an expression, a wish for another person to be happy. I think that is quite close to what we celebrate on this day, typically on Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think that comes truly the closest probably. Is it the same? Well, it depends a little bit, you know. So the similarities are, yes, we care for other people, for our family, for our friends or beloved ones, and we let them know at the right occasion. Sometimes also we make a small gift or something like that, isn't it? And that symbolizes our affection for each other. On the other hand, there's also some differences between the idea of carnal love or Valentine's Day and loving kindness. Because what was the Buddha's attitude to the love of a husband to his wife or grandparents to their grandchildren? Actually, there's a very interesting gatha, a verse in the Dhammapada, where the Buddha says, Bemado jayati soko. From love comes sorrow. Then the next line is, Bemado jayati bhayang. From love comes fear. Bemado vipamutassa nati soko kuto bhayang. For one who is free from love, there is no sorrow and no fear. Whoa. Sounds very gloomy, huh? Buddha says you shouldn't love anyone. Maybe hatred is better than love. Is this the Buddha's teaching? Cannot be. So how is it then? You see, when the Buddha says, from love comes sorrow and fear, he speaks of the love that is associated with attachment, with craving, with clinging. My spouse, that's the one person who will make me happy. It's actually still about me, you know. And also in a relationship or a partnership, commonly also we almost regard the person as close to our own property. Especially once you're married, you know, oh, that's my husband, that's my wife. So of course there will be a lot of clinging and attachment associated with that. And clinging attachment is never wholesome. Yes, the loving kindness, the care for another person, that is wholesome. The care, the affection, the wanting to help the person when somebody has suffering, that is all wholesome. But the attachment and clinging, the craving or jealousy when the person speaks with another person, that none of that is wholesome. So the normal carnal love that everybody knows, that we see in the movies, that one the Buddha actually doesn't call metta, loving kindness. There's a separate word. Just now I used it. Bema. Bema and metta are two different terms. Bema is this normal love between a couple, you would say. There's a strong affection. It's different from loving kindness. Loving kindness also is not necessarily just focused on one person. That's my favorite, that's my spouse, nobody else. No, loving kindness can include many people, or even all beings in the best case. So it's not related just to my close friend or my family member, but loving kindness transcends those boundaries. It's actually quite beautiful. If you imagine, you can arouse the same love, care, affection that you have for one dear person. You can have the same feeling in your heart for all beings. How beautiful is that, compared to just channeling it to one single person? And then also, it doesn't have to be associated with attachment. So actually, you can have loving kindness to all beings. It can transcend boundaries. Nowadays, at times sometimes of war, and people are trying to break down the boundaries between one country to the other. But these are actually not the boundaries that matter the most. Even though you break down all the boundaries between countries, there's still people making difference. There's this race, that race, young people, old people, short and tall. But these are not external boundaries. These are the boundaries of our heart. And I think that is actually the more troublesome boundary. And that's actually the boundary that we do need to break down. All this distinguishment, that's a dear person, that's an enemy. This is my family, I don't care about others. So actually loving kindness can transcend that and become universal for all beings. And that's actually the difference to this normal state of Bema that every husband, every wife will have towards each other. Not so difficult, at least in the beginning. If you want to maintain that over many years, even that is also quite difficult actually. So the goal in Buddhism is not so much to just have this very self-centered love and attachment, but to transcend that and open up to all beings. And become caring, loving, compassionate, for all beings, all humans, even animals included. Seen and unseen beings, near and far away. So when we hear about Valentine's Day, it can be a reminder also for us. There's this quality of love, of care, affection. And also a reminder, how often am I expressing that to those people whom I really care for? Maybe my parents, my siblings. If you have a brother or a sister, how often are you telling him that you actually quite care about him? Wouldn't that be nice? Do you think people mind? Do you think people are upset if you tell somebody, I really care for you? You think they don't like it? How high is the danger that people will say, get away from me, I don't want to hear this? Almost zero, right? So everybody likes the feeling of being appreciated and hearing, maybe not every day, but from time to time, that we have value for others. So Valentine's Day can be a very good reminder for that. Reminder where we express our affection. Sometimes just a few words is enough. Or sometimes a small gift, a small present that symbolizes our relationship. That can also help. So therefore, this Valentine's Day, in our Buddhist circle, we can give it a new meaning. We see it more of an extension of loving kindness. And of course, it doesn't have to be limited just to your spouse or your children. It can be going to anyone, towards all beings, even including the monks, It's okay. So loving kindness can go to anyone